To have the privilege and opportunity to build a school from the bottom up with so much support that I believe in deeply religiously and educationally has been an opportunity of a lifetime.
One of the things that's most exciting about working at Kohelet is all of the tools and resources that we have to teach kids in the best possible way. And we have so many of those things due to the direct generosity of Deborah and David.
David has got this vision of putting every Jewish child into a Jewish institution.
When I first met David, I was amazed at what he wanted to accomplish.
I grew up in South Miami, kind of a lower middle class neighborhood. My father was a taxi driver, my mother was a secretary. There were a lot of Jewish values in the house, but it wasn't a particularly observant home.
I grew up in a home that was slightly more observant than David's home. I grew up in a kosher home, and Jewish traditions were much more important to my family than I think to David's family.
From an early age, my parents made it clear that a great way to achieve things in life and to rise up from above the situation we were in financially was to get a good education and to work hard, study hard. Around 2004, 2005, I started getting concerned about what the meaning of life was and how I was going to convey that to my children, and was searching kind of spiritually, I guess. Around the same time, our family was invited to Israel for my cousin's son's bar mitzvah. We'd have all these conversations around the table, and they'd all be talking about Torah, and I felt very desiring to be connected to this kind of life, but very separate from it. So when we got back to America, I got matched up with a chavrusa, with a learning partner, and so I started going to the morning minyan and putting on tefillin and davening after I got back from Israel.
They embody what it means to constantly be growing and seeking in your connection with God and Torah.
David is someone who's committed his life to doing the right thing. He understands that he carries the responsibility to make sure that the needs of the Jewish community are there.
Part of my mission was to make sure that every parent had a school that they could send their kids to that would match up with what they wanted for their children. And so that was the beginnings of the Kohelet Foundation.
And he wanted to unite the schools so that our similarities were greater than our differences. And I believe he accomplished all of that.
And if you look at the landscape of our community today, you can see the impact everywhere.
Being a part of a thriving, growing community and seeing all the parts of the community growing and being successful. And we really feel blessed to have been a part of it.
David Magerman obligates us all to do more, to stretch beyond our comfort zone, whether it's to be more generous, to be more selfless, to be more open-minded, to study more Torah, to help others not feel like an outsider, or to use whatever blessings we were given and maximize them for the betterment of the Jewish community.
As the new high school principal, what I get to see is Kohelet as it is today. And one of the things that I see most directly is David and Deborah's kids. So passionate about learning and growing and developing as Jews right here in our school today. And that speaks volumes for the messages that they're getting at home from Deborah and David.
David and Deborah, I want to wish you such a big mazel tov on this honor.
The Jewish community needs you, and the Jewish community applauds you.
May you go from strength to strength and have tremendous nachas from your entire family.
Mazel tov, David and Deborah, on this well-deserved honor. Thank you for everything you've done to help Kohelet